Good morning everybody, welcome back to Morning Tarot. I'm here doing the Suit of Wands and this morning my stick seems to be like especially wobbly, so I'm really sorry if I keep moving it around. I've tried to kind of wedge it into place. So yesterday we looked at, what was it, 5, 6 and 7 of Wands, and so today we're going to be doing the 8, 9 and 10. So let's start off with 8. On there. A little bit blurry today as well. Okay, so the 8 of Wands, I don't think I get to focus any better. No. The 8 of Wands is one of those cards that actually doesn't have an awful lot in the picture. Some of the tarot cards are really sort of image laden and they're image heavy and you can really go into detail about what's going on in the card. This card is actually quite simple to look at. You've got all the 8 wands with their little creative leaves coming out on the background of sky. It's all sky with just a bit of water and a bit of land here in the bottom. So I think there's a lot of air energy in this card as well as fire. So Wands being the suit of fire and air. So if you add air to fire, you get a lot of fire happening really quickly. More oxygen you put into a fire, the faster and brighter a fire burns. So I really think about those energies of air and fire coming together in this card because they're both almost equally represented. And because of that, and because of this idea of kind of whoosh of flames, this card generally tends to talk about something that's moving fast. It is the accelerator card. You know, I think of like your foot on the accelerator when you see this. If you see this card in a spread, usually I would say the cards that are around it, things are going to happen faster. This is a card of motion and this card is going to speed things up. If you've got events coming up in the future, this is going to mean that they're going to happen pretty quickly. If you're looking at a situation where there's a lot of change implied, these changes are going to happen pretty fast to the person. This is putting extra fire, it's putting extra speed into anything. And I've actually heard these also called before arrows of love. So this can, in a romantic situation, a romantic spread, can almost be like Cupid's arrows. You know, you might be hit really hard with the love bug. It's just going to kind of take you over and sweep you away. So this is all about acceleration and speed. It's an amplifier as well. If this card was a crystal, it would be clear quartz because it amplifies everything around it. I tend to think of it as quite a lucky card. I think that there's a lot of sort of positive energy in it. Sometimes you really need fuel to the fire, and that does, it's like kind of pedal to the metal, fuel to the fire, amplifying a situation. It can also imply a lot of change. If you've got quite a chaotic looking spread that's going on, this is just going to speed everything up and there could be quite a lot of chaos. And this really, I think when you're reading this card, you do need to look at the cards around it to see what's happening quickly. It can also herald news. So if you have, for example, some of the pages, we've talked about a couple of pages already, so for example, the Page of Cups that we looked at last week with his winged messenger helmet and the wings on his shoes. Now, if he's bringing forth some kind of message, then it's going to speed it up. It's going to come quickly. If there's change, change is going to happen quickly. If somebody's falling in love, they're probably going to fall really hard and really fast. If you're thinking about looking at a situation where somebody might be moving abroad or doing a career change, it's probably going to happen quickly. Once events have been set in motion, and you see this card, yeah, it's happened. You've loosed the arrow's been sent from the bow and they're just flying. You know, they will reach their destination. So this is the amplifying, speeding up card. This is the real flame. It's fuel to the fire. Now the 9 of Wands, different energy to it. You have to excuse my card. At one point, sometime, I think I spilt something, or this got a little bit wet, it's a bit darker in the corner. That's not actually the general card, that's just my card that's got that slight staining, so please ignore that. I've had these cards like for like a really long time. Well, I say really long time, maybe about 10 years or so I've been using this deck. So some of the cards are a little bit battle scarred because of that. Anyway, right, so 9 of Wands. Now the 9 of Wands represents, as I said a moment ago, a very different kind of energy into the idea of Wands. Still they have the creativity and the passion and stuff that comes with fire, but here you're looking at somebody who looks like they've been through the wars. They've got a bandaged head, the expression on the face is quite surly, it's quite kind of mean and fed up. it looks like they've got a scratch mark or something here, like it's reddened, and they're actually standing behind their wand, clutching the wand. It's quite a defensive sort of posture, hunched shoulders. And so when I look at this card, I tend to think of somebody who's in a situation where they're feeling quite defensive, where they're feeling a bit surly, where they're having that sort of emotion, where perhaps they feel that they've been through the wars, or something has happened and they feel that they've been badly done to, or they feel that they haven't got what they should have out of a situation. I think there's an idea in this card that someone has had to almost like fight too hard for something. So it's almost like this guy has been fighting for his wands and he's managed to retain them. He's still got them all, they're all still behind him, all his ideas, all the things that are going on in the spread, but he's really having to defend himself. So I think this someone has to sort of defend themselves, perhaps defend their ideas, defend their vision, defend whatever's going on around them, and they're a little bit fed up with it. So it's somebody almost who is in that feeling of just having to fight a bit too hard. They're getting tired of fighting for things all the time. They're getting tired of kind of struggling and retaining, and it's like almost somebody who feels like they might need a bit of a break. So there might also be a situation where you've ended up kind of fighting and working so hard for something, and you're just kind of reaching a burnout point, and you might even begin to be seeing a situation where someone's starting to think, you know what, I don't even know if it's worth it anymore. Why am I putting forth so much effort and so much energy, and then why am I taking so many hits? Is it worth it? And I think that you might actually want to have a look at the cards around this card sometimes to see if there is this idea of evaluation, because it could be an indication that someone needs to evaluate a situation and look to see if it's working for them, or if they've had to fight too hard and have had to put too much into something and they're just not getting out what they're putting in. I think it's important in any situation that you get out what you put into it. And if somebody is pouring energy into a situation and they're not getting anything out of it, and they're just feeling drained and tired and a bit kind of abused, then they probably do need to reevaluate it, whether they need to change the situation, whether they need to change their approach to the situation. And this is just, I just think he's so expressive. You can really see it. I know it's slightly blurry. You can kind of really see that, fed up emotion, that fed up feeling that comes with it. It makes me think a little bit of the 7, which I actually don't have with me, which we did yesterday, where the guy's standing on the high ground, sort of fending things off. I mean, in that situation, somebody's on the high ground and they're managing to fend off any issues or any competitors quite easily. But when you look here at the 9, you're looking at someone who is, just got tired of doing that, and they've had to fight quite hard, and they've been a bit bruised and a bit battered, and they need a break. So evaluate your situation. And finally for today, the 10 of Wands. So when you see the 10 of Wands coming up in the spread, I always look at this card and I think this person really needs to learn how to hold their wands in a better way. So if you look at the guy here, he's got this bundle of 10 wands, and he could not be handling it worse, really. He could not be approaching it in a less easy way. This is someone who's making things difficult for themselves. This is somebody who's making a situation a lot more complicated, a lot more tricky than it actually has to be. Look at the way he's doing it. I mean, he's got them all with this loose grip, holding them straight up. His back is bent. He's finding it really hard to keep control of them. He can't see where he's going. His vision is completely blocked by these wands. And really, all he needs to do is just gather them together, pop them over his shoulder, and then he could carry them easily. So this card is really saying to you, you need to look at the way you're handling a situation. You need to look at the way you're reacting to a situation, and you need to look at your approach to a situation. Whatever that situation is, have a look at it, because it would indicate, I think, that somebody is actually kind of making a bit of a meal of something. Something does not have to be this hard. It doesn't have to be such a struggle. And if you're going to approach any kind of situation without thinking through the best way to do it, then you're going to end up with a sore back and not see where you're going. This guy is probably heading for a trip and a fall, and he's going to drop all his wands. He could be heading for a bit of a disaster, and he doesn't need to be, because all he needs to do is to stop and reevaluate his approach, reevaluate how he's handling something, how he's chosen to tackle something, and do it in a different way. So this, for me, is saying use your wands in a different way. Look at your situation and see what you could do differently to make things 100 times better for you. Maybe you're very busy and you've got a lot going on and there's a huge amount happening in the spread around, and what this card is saying to you is you need to learn to prioritize, you need to learn to manage your time properly, gather things up, hold them better, and you'll be able to see your way forwards, because this is very tiring. And if you're approaching a situation in the wrong way, if you're approaching something, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a working relationship, a friendship, whether it's you trying to deal with your finances and feeling like you're just being completely surrounded by bills and you don't know how to handle that and how to make payments, just stop, reevaluate how you're approaching things, reevaluate what you're doing and the way you're trying to tackle something, and you will see that there is an easier way to do it, because this is very much somebody who's putting forth far more energy and effort in the wrong way. So though they're just about managing to hold on, it's completely unnecessary. There is a better way to do it. So it's saying, have a look at what's going wrong. If you feel like you don't know where you're going, that you can't see the next step ahead of you, you don't know where to go from here, stop, look at things around you, look at what's happening, think about it, and ask yourself, how can I do this more efficiently? How can I do this in a better way? How can I be more organised? What could I do in this situation to improve it for myself, to make it more constructive, to make it flow better? And 9 times, in fact no, this is card of 10 times out of 10, I would say, in this situation, and the person can do that. They can make this much easier. So don't make things harder for yourself than they need to be. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's tarot, and have a very nice Wednesday, and I will talk to you again tomorrow morning. Okay, bye.